My mom went on a date with Charlie Wilson. The last time I got one of these, I was in an apartment and there was a fire in the unit above me. Someone who really liked to smoke and really liked to drink and apparently was doing both at the same time. It's unclear. But I know that I came home and was intercepted by the super on the stoop. And he said, I need to show you something. He would say show instead of tell. He would say, he loved the verb show, to show. I need to show you something. Just show, it was like aloha. It just would fit in anywhere. And he told me about the fire. And my first thought was, oh my God, my dog. Went into my unit, opened the door, and she was just sitting there looking up at me with all of these drips happening around her. Like, hey, you're here. She wasn't nervous. She wasn't frantic. She wasn't doing that thing dogs often do where they're doing a dance. Fine, no problem. This was a dog who would get bugged by any of a number of things, but apparently an entire ladder company coming into the apartment building was not enough to make her annoyed. Maybe because she liked one of the guys at the ladder company, which is a whole other story. The guy who would feed dog biscuits to people who would walk their dogs down 77th Street. And he's one of the guys who died on September 11th. This ladder company got hit really hard. And the fire chief had also been in my house after the fire to do an inspection because I was worried that, you know, there might be an electrical fire, there might be some problem with all of the water that had gotten trapped in the walls. The guy said no. Both of them died on September 11th. And I wanted to write to the guy who gave the dog biscuits, my dog loved you. And I realized I couldn't because he was dead, because I saw a feature on him somewhere toward the end of September, beginning of October, 20 years ago. And I couldn't write to the fire chief. But I could do this, go on rent strike. And when you go on rent strike, you get an eviction notice, and then you show up and answer it in court. It's this weird habit. Instead of petitioning the housing authority, which doesn't really go anywhere, you have to make yourself the squeaky wheel. You have to make yourself obstinate and obdurate, intransigent. Fill in your SAT vocabulary words here. And then when you get the eviction notice, you answer it in court with legal representation. And sometimes you might get a nice settlement, which really has nothing to do with what's going on right now. I don't think we're even taking notice of this. I don't think we're even paying attention that what's going to happen to people booted out of their places. They then have a mark on their record. And then where do they live? And where do they go? It's hard enough living in an apartment where you don't think it's going to be safe because something might ignite at any moment. What's it like when you don't even have that?